Greetings to everyone. The Buddhist Council of Greater St. Louis welcomes all of you to our annual Vesak Day celebration, commemorating the birth, enlightenment, and passing into nirvana of the Buddha. We thank everyone for joining us today during these uncertain times. All of us have had to make changes and adaptations to the way we live and communicate. We appreciate your patience as we hold our first online Vesak Day. We have two phenomenal monastic speakers today discussing topics relevant to the challenges that we're facing. We hope that you're able to stay for the whole program to benefit from their wisdom and compassion. The Buddhist Council is accepting donations for the St. Louis Area Food Bank. All donations collected today will be forwarded to them, so please give generously if you are able to help feed our community. You can go to www.mava-usa.org and click on the link titled Contribute. There you will find the PayPal link to donate by your preferred method. My name is Lenora, and I'm a member of the Cherokee Buddhist Temple on Cherokee Street. I'm here today with the Abbot Ajahn Praku Vichit Silakun. We're also excited today to announce a new website designed and maintained by Carol Corey for the Buddhist Council. You can check it out at www.buddhistcouncilstl.org. We thank Carol for her hard work to assist the Council in keeping us up to date with event announcements and listings of participating Buddhist groups in the metro area. The Buddha taught that life is full of challenges, and our reaction to these challenges is key to our well-being and happiness. The Buddha was born Gautama Siddhartha around 623 BCE. He lived a comfortable early life as a prince while being sheltered from the outside world by his father. One day he was able to escape the palace walls and realized that we all suffer.
จะชี้ให้ดูว่ามันอยู่ที่ไหน
Sense of urgency to be free from suffering led him on a quest to seek enlightenment. He renounced his position and left the palace to live as a wandering monk. After years of meditation and concentration, he came to understand full awakening and freedom from suffering as the middle path. He lived another 45 years until the age of 80, sharing his compassion and wisdom, as well as teaching the skillful means for all to attain awakening. Vesak is our celebration of his birth, enlightenment, and parinibbana, or passing away for the final time and breaking the cycle of reincarnation. Founded in 1999, the Buddhist Council of Greater St. Louis consists of many local Buddhist groups which meet monthly to discuss secular and spiritual issues and to organize year-round activities. In addition to Vesak Day, the Council and participating groups sponsor other annual events. We sponsor an engaged Buddhism event each year in St. Louis. The Council is tentatively planning another online Mindfulness Day event in St. Louis in August. We are still discussing our annual Walk to Feed the Hungry, which had originally been scheduled for Sunday, September 20th, to see if we'll still hold that in person or perhaps we'll have a virtual walk that day. Please stay tuned to the Buddhist Council Facebook page and website for details on both these events. Now I'm going to hand it over to Abbot Praku Vichit Silakun, who will lead us in a few verses of morning chanting in the Pali language, and you can follow along with the English translation, which I believe we will post online. Good morning, Yoso Bhagava.
Everyone can recite at home too.
Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagavan Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivademi Sawakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Sukotipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Saṅghang Namami Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Yo so Tathagato Arahang Samma Sambuddho Vichā Charana Sampanno Sukhato Rokavitho Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati Tatha Deva Manuttanam Buddho Bhagavā Yo imang lokang sadevakang samarakang saramakang Dan samana brahmaning kayang sadewa manutang sayang apinyasa jikatawa pavedesi Yo dhammang desesi adi kalayanang mace kalayanang pariyosana kalayanang Sahathang sapayan janang kewara paripunang parisutang brahmacaryang pakaseti Tamahang bhagavantang apipucayami Tamahang bhagavantang silasa namami Yon son sawan katon bhagavata dhammo San etiko akariko ehipasiko O panayiko pacatang vetitapo vinyohi Tamahang dhammang akipucayami Tamahang dhammang silasaha namami Yon son sukotipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho Om supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho Yaya patipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho Sami patipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho Yadidang jatari purisa yukha dhyata purisa bukhala Esa bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho Hunayo pa hunayo andang kinayo anjari karaniyo Anuttarang punya ketang lokasa Tamahang sangkhang apipucayami Tamahang sangkhang silasa namami Aham sukhito homi Niddukho homi Avilo homi Abhayapacco homi Adiko homi Sukhi attanang pariharami Tapesata sukita hontu Tapesata avila hontu Tapesata apayapacca hontu Tapesata dika hontu ดาเพสัตตาสุขีอัตถนังปริหารันตุดาเพสัตตาสัพพะทุกขาปมุจจันตุดาเพสัตตาลัทธะสัมปติโตมาวิคัจฉันตุดาเพสัตตากัมมะสปะกัมมะดายาดากัมมะโยนิกัมมะพันธุกัมมะปฏิสรณายังกัมมังกริสันติกัลยาณังวาปะปะกังวาตัสสะดายาดาปวิสันติสัพเพสัตตาสดาหนตุอะเวลาสุขกิวิโนขอให้สัตว์ทั้งหลายจงเป็นผู้อย่าได้มีเวรต่อกันและกันเลยจงเป็นผู้ดำรงชีพอยู่เป็นสุขทุกเมื่อเถิดกตังปุญญังพลังไมหังสัพเพภาชีพวันโตเตขอให้สัตว์ทั้งหลายจงเป็นผู้มีส่วนได้เสวยผลบุญที่ข้าพเจ้าได้บำเพ็ญมาด้วยกายวาจาใจเรานั้นเถิดโสอัตถะโทสุขิโตวิรุณโหพุทธศาสเนอะโรโกจิโตโหหิสหัสสะเปหิยาติปิสัทธะทาสุขิตาวิรุณหาพุทธศาสเนอะโลกาสุขิตาโหหิสหัสสะเปหิยาติปิเตอัตถะทาสุขิตาวิรุณหาพุทธศาสเนอะโรคาสุขิตาโหนทะสหัสสะเปหิยาติปิโหตุสัพพังสุมังคารังราคันตุสัพพะเทวตาสัพพะพุทธานุภาเวนะโสทิหนตุนิรันตรังโหตุสัพพังสุมังคารังราคันตุสัพพะเทวตาสัพพะธัมมานุภาเวนะโสทิหนตุนิรันตรังโหตุสัพพังสุมังคารังราคันตุสัพพะเทวตาสัพพะสังฆานุภาเวนะโสทิหนตุนิรันตรัง
Okay, how do you do that? Today is Venerable Jie Huang, Director of Fo Guanshan Temple in Bridgeton, Missouri. She was ordained in Taiwan before accepting the position to lead the temple. Venerable Jie Huang has been involved in many outreach programs, especially programs for children. Her topic is Keep Going, Living a Carefree Life in and After a Pandemic.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. So it is my honor to be here to have this talk, especially in this special moment. I hope that everyone can hear me, and I'm in my shrine. So it's so this year should be we should have a Vesak day held in the shrine or in Fo Guangshan, but we know that there are a pandemic, a coronavirus, so we are not able to do so. But I'm still here, okay, and I'm very glad that we are still having Vesak Day celebration through Zoom. So thank you very much for being here. Okay, so now I'm going to, let me see. So I'm going to show my PowerPoint. Okay, so I hope that you can see my PowerPoint. Oops, okay. So the topic that I would like to share with every one of you who has attended here on Zoom and also on Facebook, this is my topic. So it's keep going, living a carefree life in and after pandemic. Okay. So we are kind of like open up right now, we open, but I think that we are not yet, you know, the pandemic is still there. So we have to, kind of thinking or rethink how to live, or what should we do, or what is the attitude that we that we have to live in a carefree life and after the pandemic. Right? So then this reminds me teachings, right, by my master. Okay, so it is keep going. Okay, so keep going is kind of like easy, right? Okay, so in my temple, right, in our headquarters, there is a Buddha museum. Okay, so this is a Buddha museum that is just situated right next to my Buddhist temple, or my temple at the headquarters. Okay, so you can see it is a huge structure, and you see the little figures that is at the right bottom, and that is the people, the people and visitors. So you know how huge this structure is. So there are roads, okay, for the cars to go or to ride in, right, to drive in and drive around. Right? So we don't. We usually encourage people to walk, right, not to drive. But we put a sign, right, at the side of the road. It's called "Keep Going." Okay, so if you know, there is a sign posted, and there is an arrow going up. Okay, it's just like pointing at the sky, but actually it should be pointing directly to the straight toward. Okay, and there at the bottom of the arrow is the Chinese word. It's called 向前有路. It means that keep going. Okay. When you go forward, there is a way out, right? Or there is a way to go to lead you. Go around the Buddha Museum. Okay, so please keep going. Okay, don't hesitate, but keep going. Okay, so actually, this one has a Buddhist. There is some Buddhist story. Right? Or my master made a Buddhist story, or a story to explain why we have to do this, okay? Or why we have to keep going, right? Not resting, or maybe rest for a while, but we have to keep going. Right? So there you go. So there was a puppy at the right. Okay, there was a puppy. You know that the puppies, there is a behavior of a puppy, and we think that it is cute. Like a puppy will be going around chasing its tail, right? Okay, so there was a puppy that also done the same. So it just kept chasing its tail, going round and round. And there was a dog, okay, and just sat beside the puppy, and then finally the dog asked the puppy, "What are you doing?" And the puppy said, "I am chasing my tail." "What's that for?" And the puppy said, "That is because I heard that the luck and the hope of a dog is on their tail. So I'm chasing, I'm chasing to grab it, to hold on my luck and the hope." And the dog said, "No, you don't have to. Stop turning around and chase it. If you keep going forward, luck and hope will always follow." Okay, so it's just kind of like you follow there, you go there, but your luck and hope are always follow. Okay. So I think that these the lessons of my master, saying that we have to keep going, and actually when we are going forward, moving forward, actually our luck and hope will always follow. Okay, so this is what the reason why I chose the topic for the Vesak Day. So we have to keep going during this pandemic. Okay. So what in mind that we have to keep going, because if we have to keep going, there are a lot of, like a lot of frustrations, a lot of doubt, a lot of hesitations. So what are the mindsets that we have to keep going? So I think that for a Buddhist, we have to have the first and important one is the impermanence. Okay, so this photos is New York Times Squares. We know that. I think that most of you have seen this photo. The photo at the left is the normal ones before the pandemic. And the one at the right is the time during the pandemic and during the stay-home order, right? Okay, stay home, keep yourself safe, okay, and keep, you have to stay home, and then the medical professionals stays at not temple but hospitals, fighting for us. Okay, so I think that by time to time there are rises and falls of a city, a nation, or a business, or even a person's life. Okay, so that actually this tells us the impermanence. It is the ever-changing fact of the world. Okay, so this is the impermanence. So what is the, I think everyone knows that the impermanence, a thought of impermanence, or the admitting of impermanence actually is the first steps for Buddhists to understand the Buddhist teachings, especially the non-self teachings. Okay, but we're not going to go deeper to the non-self teachings, but we can say that impermanence is the first step, okay, for us to know a non-self. Okay. So by my master, Venerable Master Xing Yun, he says that we cannot stop time, but we can discover impermanence. Yeah, so a time, we can't stop time, right? Okay, aging or sickness or, I don't know. Yeah, so you can't stop pandemic, right? So it happened, right? Okay, so, but the good things is that we can, by these changing times, we can discover and we can realize the importance of impermanence. Okay. So what is the importance of the impermanence? Okay. Society's impermanence makes progress possible. Life's impermanence makes future lives possible. Okay. So why so? So let us take a look at it. So impermanence, okay, that just like what we are doing right now, okay, a Vesak Day celebration on Zoom. It is a video conferencing or a webinar. So the fiction becomes reality. Right? So we can know that there's a Star Trek. Right? So when we are watching the Star Treks, maybe 10 or 20 years ago, then everything shows on TV on this Star Trek, episode is very, very unreal. Right? And we think that it is only, it will be only be existed in the scientific or science fictions. Okay? But right now, the fiction becomes realities. Okay? So I think that because of the progress of the technology and also the pandemic, and it pushed us to have a new form or new way of living, a new way of interaction. Right? Interaction or social distancing, right? Okay. All right, so this is the impermanence. Also, impermanence can make, a person creative. Right? So there are, I think that creativity means flexibilities. Okay? So everyone can create something, okay, in corresponding to or to answering to the circumstances that we encountered. So we can see that on the photo there is cabbage face masks. Okay, so it looks cute, right? Okay, the cabbage. Okay. It is made of the waste. Okay. This is we don't eat that, right? But so it turns waste into a useful means for the pandemic. Right? So I think this shows creativity and the flexibility of humanity. So we can always adapt, and we can always adjust, right, ourselves into any circumstances. Right? So this is also what we can learn from the impermanence. We have to learn flexibilities and creativities. Okay? So there is an artist called Jennifer Bayer. Right? So during the stay-at-home order, so she had illustrated art. Right? Said that, take a trip to your own bathroom, okay? Because you are kept, we are all kept in a very limited space, confined space, right? And so we are not used to it. So it is kind of like he is making a very making a fun, or using her art skills to make this a fun way of staying home. Okay, so visit your one house plant, right? Or take a trip to your own bathroom. Okay, so you can holding a bathroom tissue, okay, or serve your couch. Okay, so this is also a creative ones. Okay, so I think that we have going back to time. You look back at the 3-month stay-at-home order, and then you can check on. I think that maybe there are some fun news or interesting news that will make a laugh, right? Okay, so this is also something that we have to know. Right? So this is the impermanence. Okay, so there is an ad time, sorry. Okay, so I think that Nora had mentioned that just at the beginning of the Vesak of this Zoom meeting, but I would like to say it again so that we can know more about it. Okay, so here is she can only say it, but I put it into word. Okay, so as we are doing this Vesak Day on Zoom, we are also supporting a good cause. Okay, so we are going to collect the donation to the food bank. So food bank, but of course we are going to choose a very good one, food bank. Okay, so there is a link on the screen, and this is the link for any donation. So any donation are all appreciated. So we hope that we can also help. Okay. For those who are greatly impacted by this pandemic. Okay. So I know that there are a lot of people got impacted. Okay. So we have to, we can offer them a hand to help them. Okay. So, and so we chose food bank. Okay. So this is just an ad time. Okay. So ad time's over, so back to the my talk. Okay, so here. Right. So the second one, I think that we have to know, or when we would like to live a carefree life in or after the pandemic. I think this is a very, very important one, dealing with hatred. And I think this is also the situation that we are encountered especially after the tragic incident of Mr. Floyd. Okay, so I think that everyone has their say, right? Or maybe they have their anger. Okay, so we have to deal with that, right? And especially when we talk about that, right? About stay at home, okay? And stayed at home for 7 days. I think it's okay, but for 3 months or 1 month or 14 days, 1 month, and then you're kind of like, oh, what should I do with that? Okay. So we have to say hello, right? To something that we are maybe we're ready for that. Right? So as a Buddhist, we have to kind of like face those emotions, whether it is harmful or it is enjoyable or it is it is not very, it is ugly. Okay? So, but we have to deal with that. Okay? And I think that Buddha's has a lot of teachings. So I would like to share with you about one of the teachings dealing with hatred. And believe it or not, okay, hatred is is one or the first emotions that we can deal with. Right. And because there are a lot of emotions like buried down into our own ego, and the hatred is the easiest ones. Okay. And the reason why it is easiest ones because it is very obvious. Right? You can tell when you are angry. Okay. So you can sense that very easily. So I think that if you sense it easily, then actually you can deal with it peacefully and very easy also. So this is the reason why we hope that we can deal with hatred first. Okay. Okay, so before that, I forgot to mention the impermanence. Okay, let's go back to the impermanence. I would like to show my my one and only planner. Okay, so why I showed my planner? It is because before the year before this year, I don't use planner. Okay, so I consider myself not a very organized one. So sometimes I forget something. So at the end of year 2019, last year, so I have a resolution saying that I have to organize my life. So I bought a planner. Okay, so I wrote a lot of things. Okay, including the temple's schedules, okay? And it is full. And every weekends were filled already. Okay, filled already. Okay, so I did this at the early January. Okay, and then after that, bam, it is pandemic. Right? So every activities that I planned, and most of the activities that I planned were canceled or postponed. Okay, so this is the impermanence. Okay, so I will keep my planner. I'm going to keep my planner, right? Or maybe I can just leave it on my shrine, my personal shrine, and this is a very good example of impermanence. Okay, so a reminder, best reminder for my impermanence. Okay, so back to dealing with hatred. Okay, so I would like to share with you Theravada scriptures called Agata Vinaya Sutta. Okay, so please bear with me if you know Pali. Okay, so I might not pronounce it right. Okay, so but it is Agata Vinaya Sutta. Okay, so you can go to look for that. okay, and it was already translated into English. So I think it is very easily accessible. So Agatha Vinaya actually means how to subdue of hatred. Okay? So hatred or anger or ill will. Okay? So Agatha means hatred or ill will or anger or anything that is, negative or, kind of like, you want to do bad things. Okay, yelling or banging of the tables. Okay, so how and Vinaya actually means, of course, it means rules and regulation, but also it means subduing, okay? Subduing of hatred. Okay, so in this sutra, okay, part 1, the Buddha taught the Buddhist disciples, say there are 5 ways. There are 5 ways to subdue of hatred. Okay, the first one, if someone pissed you off, okay, and you have this anger toward that person or that group of people, what are you going to do? You have to have goodwill toward that person or that group of people. Then your anger will be subdued. So this is the first step, goodwill. And then the second one, or second way, we have to have compassion. Okay. Compassion toward that person. Okay. So we have to keep in mind that we have to have goodwill, compassion toward the person that we are angry at. Okay. And the third one is equanimity. I think this is very straightforward. Okay, so I will not go deeper to these 3 characters. I think these 3 characters is very well. Actually, it is very well or used well used. Words in the Buddhist scriptures or in Buddhist teachings. So I think that I don't have to explain it further. Okay, compassion. Right? So pay him no mind and pay him no attention. It is the 4th way. Direct your thoughts to the fact of his being the product of his own actions. Okay, so I have made these 5 ways into 2 categories, okay? And each categories were color coded. So the first 3, goodwill, compassion, equanimity, is in orange color, and the last 2, pay him no mind or pay him no attention, thinking about his action is his owner of his own actions, is color coded in green. Okay, so the reason why I had these color coded is because when we are talking about anger or hatred, okay, or we have some fight with someone, okay, the first action we take might be, if we really want to subdue, might be, or if you want to choose, if you have an option to choose, so we usually choose the 4th one, but not the first 3. The 4th one, pay him no attention, or just kind of like leave me alone. Okay, we draw a line. We kind of like draw a line, and then we just keep him out of our sight, right? Okay, so draw a line, having space, that is good. But if we are trying to push them away, just pay him no attention, then there are questions. If we did this, we do this at the first as our first way, right? Or first hand, or in out of our intuitions, right? Just draw a line, right? Then you're no longer my friend, okay? Then actually we are losing a chance. We're losing a chance to subdue our hatred. We're losing a chance to develop the first three qualities, which is goodwill, compassion, and equanimity. Okay, so I think that the reason why the Buddha chose to give us the three good things, goodwill, compassion, and equanimity at the first three is that because when hatred arises, actually it is a very good chance, best chance, right, to make us to face anger, okay, so, and make us to subdue it. Okay, so if we just try to walk away from it, we try to keep distance from the people who make us angry or make us, developing hatred or ill will, then we're losing chances. Okay, chances of developing any good characters. Okay, so pay him no mind and pay him no attention. Actually, it is always not our first priority for Buddhists, right? And taught by the Buddha. Okay. It is not a first priority, so we have to keep in mind. Right? We have to keep, so we have to, kind of like, okay, the Buddha is teaching us to develop goodwill, compassion, equanimity toward the person, that person who, who make us angry. So this is very important. Right? And also in the ratio, right? So we know that there are, and the 4 and 5, actually it is a kind of like a physical or a mental things. Okay, physical things is kind of like paying him no mind and paying him no attention is kind of like keeping away from the person or the people. And the fifth one, the last one, direct your thoughts to the fact of his being the product of his own actions. Actually, it's a mindset. Okay, so I won't get involved. I won't get involved with your own actions. This is your actions, and that's it. Okay, so actually, it is kind of like pushing everything or pushing away. Right, but right, there are only 2 out of 5. Right, so this is and that is the least option, right? So or the less priority that the Buddha taught us to do, right? So the first 3, right, 3 out of 5. Okay, so 3 out of 5 is that we have to build a good characters or build compassion, build goodwill, build friendship toward the person. Okay, so that is kind of like, actually, this is our practice. Right, so if we don't do that, we go directly to number 4 and 5, then actually we lost chances. Okay, so I think this is a very good teachings for us to subdue the hatred. Okay, so next, okay, this is the taught by the Buddha. Okay, so next. Actually, there are a continuation of this sutta, okay, and I think that we can take a closer look at it. Right? This is taught by Sariputta. Okay, so now taught by Sariputta, and the previous one is taught by the Buddha. Right? And Sariputta is one of the very well-known and and I think that is his best disciple or one of the best disciple of the Buddha. I think that if you know about Sariputta. Okay, so he said by subduing of hatred, okay, there are 5 ways to do it too. Okay, so it's kind of like, okay, another 5 ways. What are those? Okay. So Sariputta had it very kind of like had it divided into another 3 categories: body, speech, and mind. Okay, so here is kind of like putting it into kind of like and combinations, right? Okay, so he said that if there is a bodily impure, but his speech and mind are pure, or he doesn't talk about mind, sorry, speech is pure, or a group of people that his body is bodily action is pure, but his word is impure. Okay. Or both of the body and the speech are impure, but that person has a periodic, to pronounce that, it's hard to pronounce it. He has some periodically experience about the calm and mental clarity. Right? So he has that person still has that. Right? He still experience calmness or mental clarity, means that a good judgment. Okay. But it is kind of like sometimes, like periodically. Okay. Or someone who are body speech are both impure, but also they don't often experience calmness and mental clarity. Okay, and the last one is both of or among the three, body, speech, and mind are also pure, and mind they are periodically he has an experience of calmness and mental clarity. Okay, so these are the four. Okay, so sorry, five. So in a very short conclusion, actually, Sariputta in his teachings or in these sutras, he has a lot of analogies. So maybe we can take a look at this and examine that. Right? But in brief, I will directly go to the conclusion. Right? So when we are talking about this one, we go to further to go to the first part taught. That part is taught by the Buddha. Actually, we can examine closely on the number 4. Pay him no mind and pay him no attention. Right? So what do we not, or what do we pay no attention? So what are those who we don't have to pay attention to? Right? So what are those? Right? So this is the answer. Okay. So actually number 4 is, it doesn't mean that when we pay him no attention, it means that we are physically distancing ourselves to away from that person. Actually, it is a kind of like a mental exercise about contemplating his body, speech, and mind to that person, of that person. Okay, so actually we have to keep away from the impure one, but we can think about the pure ones. Okay? So there are pure, right? Pure ones. Okay, also the periodically ones. Okay? So mind, okay? Speech, body. Okay? So there are in these 5 types of people, actually you cannot find someone who are purely bad. Okay, so and the 4th one is I do not periodically. It is very seldom, but there are still few of the time when that person experiences calm and mental clarity, right? Okay, so there is nothing you can say a person is 100% evil, 100% bad, or 100% impure. Okay? So that is something that we have to remind ourselves. If someone who or someone's action, right, make us uncomfortable, or make us, kind of like, or, then we have to think about, just take a look at, don't mind about the actions or the speech that that we feel offensive, but think about the pure ones, right? pure ones. Oh yeah, I think that maybe he will be, or that person will be, he or she, right? That person will be, is a good parents, okay, or good friends to them. Okay? So he still, will be showing his love, his kindness toward someone, right? So this is very important. Like, of course, there are some analogy about how do we deal with that. Right? So, for example, the Sariputra has an analogy about a rock, a dirty rock, right? or partially dirty rock, right? Or so it is kind of like when our shirt are worn out, or one part of our shirt was burned or was already very dirty, but the other part are still useful, right? So we can repurpose, right? Repurpose our old T-shirt or restyle the old T-shirt. Okay, so just disregard the unclean or some spot that you don't feel satisfied, right? Then focus on that that part that you feel satisfied. Okay, so this is a way. Okay, and also when we are talking about caring of our home plant, right, or house plant, right? There are brownish. There are usually sometimes a brownish edge of a very beautiful leaf. So what are we going to do is not just cutting off the whole leaf, but we can just trim around the brownish part, right? The browning part, and keep the green part. Okay, so I think this is something that we have to keep in mind. Focus, pay attention to the pure ones. Pay attention to the good ones of that person, or good characters of a person. Okay, so this is the one, right? And Sariputra had another analogies about if both of the body and speech are impure, but there are periodically mental calmness and clarity. So how can we deal with those person? Right? So it is just like a pool. It is a abandoned pool, and it has slimes and water plants inside. Right? But you are very thirsty. Imagine that you are in a desert, and when you see a pool of water, but this pool of water is so full of water plant and slimes. What are you going to do? Right? Of course, get the good ones, right? Good water, the water. Right? Then push away the slimes and also the water plants. Right? And also, if there are someone that is, really have, when you look closer and closer, there are very, very few good characters that you can explore on a person, right? Try to explore more. I think that you still can see that, right? So there is an analysis, okay, of another analysis by Sariputra, saying that if there is a footprint of an animal, like a cow or like an elephant, right? Then the rain comes and there is a puddle of that footprint. It's shallow, right? Okay. Then you're thirsty. You have traveled a long time, and you really want that water. So what can you do? Right? You have to get down, right, to that puddle of water and then slurp it, right? Okay, so this is how we can focus on the good characters of a person. Okay, so what if the person who you see is the fourth one, impure? Everything is impure, okay? Both body and speech, and you really know that he has a very, very little time to experience of calmness and the mental clarity. Right? Sariputra said, right? Just think about you are a paramedic or you are a charitable person. You are able to help people. And at the roadside, you see an old man or an old lady. He is, or that person is so poor, very sick, has no other resources. What are you going to do? You send him or her to a safe place, right? To cure him or her. Okay. Then so if you see a person who are really, really bad and you can see very, very little, very little good characteristics. Okay, so we have to think about, yes. Okay, so out of compassion, I have to help you. So out of compassion, I will talk to you. I will be friend with you. Okay, so out of compassion. So, and what is the last one? Okay, so we usually sometimes, this is something that is very, kind of like maybe weird. So we will be mad at someone who are bodily pure and their language are pure and their mind is has experienced calm and mental clarity. Right? So if you are a perfect person or most perfect person, you still get blamed by other people, right? Okay. Someone will still angry at you. Okay. So that is the world. Okay. So what are you going to think about? Okay. So Sariputta taught us that you can kind of like you're in an oasis, right? Clean water, right? Shades, right? Beautiful sceneries. Then you can jump in that clean waters, enjoy the shades under the sun. Okay, so then actually your hatred will be subdued. Okay, so actually the key phrase is this. Okay. One should at that time pay no attention to the impurity of fill the blank. Okay, please fill the blank. And instead pay attention to the fact that he periodically, okay, so sorry I can't pronounce it perfectly, periodically experience mental calmness and the calm, mental clarity and calm. Okay. Thus, the hatred for him should be subdued. Okay. So I think when we look back at the first part, the Buddha said, pay him no mind and pay him no attention. I think that the Buddha is, emphasizing not just not about, physically distancing, or we say social distancing. Okay, social distancing about that person, or I think that if you someone who you don't like, okay, you will keep social distancing as far as possible, right? Okay, so I think this is not the case, or not the own purpose, the sole purpose of the Buddha say so. Right, say these, right? But when he said, pay him no mind and pay him no attention, I think Sariputta had add up some teachings, right? Or, to say that we have to pay no attention of the impurity of fill the blank, right? Please fill the blank of your will, okay? Pay him no attention, pay him no mind of the impurity of blank of him, right? But instead pay attention to his goodness, right? Okay, so I think that this one is keep going. When we are saying keep going, there are some other characters that we have to hold on to, and so we can go, we can really go through and steadily keep going on our journey, whether it is your life or whether it is your practice, and we can keep this in very, very, really, really very good. Okay, so keep going, right, with impermanence and dealing with your anger. Okay, so thank you very much. Okay, so I have to stop these, right? Okay, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Venerable Jay Huang, for that wonderful talk. That was really very enlightening. Thank you. So my apologies for the mix-up in the program schedule. Before we listen to the Dhamma talk by Shifu Jiru, we are going to have the Song of the Triple Gem. And if you're just tuning in, welcome to the Buddhist Council's online Vesak celebration. We are accepting donations for the St. Louis area food bank. And if our team can go ahead and cue up the Song of the Triple Gem, we will have that next.
In here. Osao.
Now we know this is the right place to take refuge. Give the light our whole life, faith and diligence. Truths are all three, training so last on Dharma realms. Perfect virtue, defilements, last is nirvana. Void conditions on your mind, homage to the Dharma. Truth is all clear, hindrances loose, the brilliant light shines. Now we know this is the right place to take refuge. Give of life, our whole life, faith and diligence. Pure conduct based harmonious, gift of culture peace. Practice attainment, sustain Buddha's flame. No one's are numerous, homage to the sun.
All right. So now we can get back on with our next speaker. Master Jiru is originally from Malaysia. He studied Theravada Buddhism and was originally ordained in that tradition in Thailand in 1980. He later studied Chinese Buddhism and ordained in the Mahayana tradition under the late great Buddhist master Venerable Zhu Mu in 1986. While in Southeast Asia, Master Jiru held several important teaching and administrative positions in the Malaysian Buddhist community, including the vice chairmanship of the Buddhist Association of Malaysia Youth and Religious Advisor, where he helped establish a Buddhist educational foundation. Shifu came to the United States in 1992 to give a Dharma talk, and shortly thereafter was appointed abbot of the Great Enlightenment Temple in New York. In 1996, he became the vice chairperson of the Mid-America Buddhist Association, MABA. He formed the Youth Buddhist Educational Foundation the following year. In 1999, he became the abbot of MABA. His topic is taking comfort in the Dhamma during difficult times. Shifu?
Thank you, Lenora. And just want to say hello and good morning with all the venerable and all the friends and all the disciples of Buddha in the Zoom right now. This is the first time that in Vesak Day we celebrate in Zoom. Very new condition for me. I never using Zoom to open up my talk inside directly to the audience. So today I'm going to share my talk that taking comfort in the Dhamma during the difficult times. For me, difficult time is always happen, always need to preparing and facing too. So it's not much difficult times in any particular way, but for a monk, we are alert and not much about going other way, but we going backward to the goal, the final goals of learning Buddhism and practice Buddhism to be overcome problem and difficulty. This is a goal. This is a big destiny. We need to move forward through it. And talking a little bit about comfort in the Dhamma, when the Buddha times, we can see the noble disciples, his daily life and action can show some kinds of characteristic that we need to be alert and need to be observe it carefully in order we can learn from them. We can practice like them as an example. There are three characteristics that I keep in mind for myself to open up the practice, direct myself to the goal of liberation. Like one, we want to say a little bit about wisdom, and then we know Sariputra and Moggallana, these are very early days Buddha's noble disciple, is called very wise. The second one is, if we want to say very strong and confidence in calmness and steadiness, no matter what is the stress, difficulty in his life, he always unshakable in the mind. We know that Venerable Muglayana and Venerable Kassapa is represent of this kind of strong will. And if anyone that very kind, loving, kindness, and compassion to show himself in the action of society, then Ananda, Venerable Ananda, is the one who represent this character. I use my word to say this really touch my heart in Buddhism, the powers of wisdom, the powers of will, and the powers of patience. These three things is very general and very universal applying to our practice. No matter you know Buddhism or not, or other religion, or even though not believe in any religion, you still need to open up yourself, connected to this wisdom, powers of will, and powers of patience. I use this to say is because of who succeeds in practice is because of you follow this practice or you follow certain skill to overcome your own defilement, your own weak mind or ill will, or your own patience up and down. You can purify all this substance in the mind to achieve moral character. Means you show yourself that no matter what is going on, the stress and difficulty, you always can use IQ, AQ, or EQ to overcome that problem. This is what I talk about, comfort in the Dhamma, because the Dhamma, that what I can name it very simple and very direct, is these three Dhamma. It's very important in my life, and I want to share it today with everyone. And in these three characteristics, the powers of wisdom, we can use the contemplate, be in according with. This is called, you always think it that way, then it will build up your inner energy of habitual pattern of thinking mind. So contemplate, be in according with is very important. According with what? With the powers of wisdom, with the powers of will, or with the powers of passion, these three characteristics. So the second one is observe and go strictly by the faith. Means, oh, if anything happen, your senses touching to the reality, then you can observe them strictly. The faith means anger, you see anger. Ignore, you see ignore. Or that is the generosity man, you know he is generous. Means according with the faith, you can go strictly like that. This is called wise. And if I want to say something about how to practice powers of will, this is very challenging in the normal life, especially in the monastic too. It becomes challenging because practice the powers of will is accordingly in two practice. One is practice the 4 jhana base. The second one is applying in the 4 posture: standing, sitting, lying down, and walking. Use these 4 posture into training your concentration, your willpower, in order you can upgrading it as strong, as highest as you can, in order all the stress and difficulty come to your life. At that moment, your willpower become more higher power than the stress, the difficulty. You are steady. You are not easy to knock down by that stress. This is how we need to put our life into training meditation. They have more than what I say, the skillful means. I'm not going to talk a lot in this. And we can go a little bit about the power of patience. Powers of patience, what I can name in the teaching, it called 4 Brahma Vihara, or 4 immeasurable mind, or 4 boundless heart, included compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Sometimes the sutra said that just practice metta or compassion. Sometimes we go to loving kindness of individual. Sometimes we go compassion and loving kindness together, or sympathetic joy and equanimity go together because of different we in condition. Sometimes it's facing the exterior world's stress. We need to show compassion and loving kindness in order to get the support, in order to build up the good relationship, in order to overcome all this fight, so that we use compassion and loving kindness. Sometimes it's the inner, your mental stuck there. Your mental have some consciousness become stubbornness to attach. So you need to use sympathetic joy, and you need to use equanimity in order these 2 perceptions can let yourself ease, let yourself free from the stubbornness of inner attachment. So this is called 2 go together in the 4 conditions. Sometimes we talk about 4 conditions all go together, means compassion, loving kindness, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. This is called 4 Brahma Vihara. If we always use this patience to cure ourselves, to cultivate our mind, to cultivate our emotion, then your patience will be purified. When the emotion been purified of all the defilement, then you don't have negative energy. It becomes very positive energy of the mind. We call that power of patience. Second, I want to say a little bit is 37 factors of awakening. Why 37 factors of awakening? We call it Dhamma, and very direct and straightforward Dhamma from the Buddha. According to my own study and learning, from my reading, the Buddha himself never taught a lot different subjects of Dhamma in the history. because life is short, maybe more than 30 years of social activity. He preaching the Dhamma. He should share his understanding to the society in India region. So that the correction what I focus and more openly investigate the Dhamma, what the Buddha always talk about is this 37 factors of awakening. I call it the direct path. It's divided into 7 sects of it. Every sect become his own link condition, become the complete set of the training itself. Because of the time, little bit short, and these 37 factors of awakening, I am not going to further talk about it. And this is very important. It ought to know, it should be put into practice, and it must be experienced in order you can comfort yourself in the Dhamma during the times. I call that this prerequisite path is because it can support and help you to cultivate your IQ, AQ, and EQ. If you are not very sharp mind and very wise man, a little bit we call that this is the sequence condition of your life. You are not one time you can jump to enlighten, but you need to slowly process in the training and in the practice. Then you can use the 37 factors of enlightenment to move forward into the training. I myself is not the very sharp mind and wise man, but I am very honored to stay myself, learn to know about these 37 factors, and learn to know what is IQ, or the powers of wisdom, what is the powers of will, we call that AQ, what is the powers of passion, EQ. So this is should put it into practice, not only talk and share with others. Yourself need to be seriously looking forward to connected with this thing. That for myself, I'm doing it always like that, because must be experienced in order you can move your life to enlighten, in order you can move your life into awaken. The ultimate goals of the Dhamma, Nibbana. This is a goal that, for myself, the only goal is important. The other goal that I want to fulfill is for serving the community, serve and appreciate and pay back to the disciple who support my Dhamma work. That is what I work hard for the community. But for my own ultimate goal, Nibbana. There are 3 kinds of people who is comfort themselves in the Dhamma. The first one is who is always happy with the Dhamma. The second one, who is enlightened and who come to realize the truth. The third one, who is awakened. So the first one, who is always happy with the Dhamma, I name it as already opened the Dhamma eye, means his eyes with little bit dust. He always see things by his own Dhamma eyes. Means the Dhamma already become power in his memory. His memory that all the perception and all this mental formation is all circled by the Dhamma purifying. So he see things differently from the world. Then he can comfort themselves in the Dhamma during the difficult times, easier than a normal people who don't happy with the Dhamma. The second one is the enlightened one, or who come to realize the truth. I make an example, like someone not only see the water in the well, but he already test the water from the well. Means he got drink this water. So he know what is the test. He settled the problem of his thirsty. He overcome that thirsty, not burning anymore. This is called who test the Dhamma. Who come to realize the truth is very, very important, because life need to be enlightened. Enlightened means you'll not come back to the old path, narrow path, but you open yourself to the Dhamma, and you open yourself to the condition. You will not hide yourself in the dark, and you will not fear and worry about the darkness in front of you, because you can shine by the Dhamma in order to overcome all these clouds of darkness. The third one is who is awakened, means who come to Nibbana in this very life. Awakened is the mind and body totally merge with the Dhamma, or Dhamma and mind body unite very tight and no any leak from the life. He don't suffer anymore. He see things as there is no any myth to use the Dhamma overcome the difficulty, to use the Dhamma happy his own body and mind. This is the highest goals that we need to fulfill. For me, it is like this. So I name it in 3. Open the Dhamma eye, test the Dhamma, and the third, merge into the Dhamma. These 3 I want to say. And then once we come to more practical, we talk a little bit about immediate benefits of practicing the Dhamma. I put it into 3 lines: physical and verbal self-discipline through moral training. The first. The second one is mental self-purification through meditation and insight cultivation. The third one is self-awakening and awake others, self-benefit and benefit to others. When I want to say this, maybe you need to take more time, because it is a very formal topic and contained in the Dhamma teaching of these 3 lines. Just say a little bit simple. when we talk about physical and verbal self-discipline, who is follow the Vinaya or the disciplines in Buddhist training, you always can purify your verbal and bodily difficulty and stress. Make yourself into more possible energy with this practice. So what is the possible energy of this practice about? I can name it 5. Means the virtue is the first definition of the training in Buddha Vinaya. The second is armor, means you use the Vinaya trainings for yourself, like the precept, 5 precept, like the 8 precept, like the 10 precept, and like the novice precept, or like the monks and bhikkhunis precept. All this, as highest as you go, like means you wear armors is more strong and easy to defend you in the war of suffering, the war of life and death challenge. So armor means you use the Vinaya discipline become the protection of your life. Like no killing is 1 precept. If you can fulfill it, use it into practice, then you will have a lot of beneficial about not being hurt and harmed from the life to the future, etc. The third one is calm and steady. When the body not make mistake, verbal not make mistake, it cause into your mental state of calmness and steadiness automatically. This will be more positive in the mind state. If verbally and bodily have wrong action, unwholesome action, then it will cause your mental have a lot of vapor inside. A lot of up and down emotion will be conditionally appear in the mental state. So the third is calmness and steady. And the fourth is freedom. So mental and physic. So physic included 2, verbal and body. If verbal and body can discipline itself, then you can free your mental, your body as well. It's very direct. Means you don't do any harm to others. At least you feel no harm at all in the mental, what we call that, you don't feel any regret. You don't need to be dependent because the mental there is being purified accordingly. The second what I want to say is mental self-purification through meditation and insight cultivation. This is more mental or psychology cultivation in someone who practice in meditation. So meditation will help us build up rational and intelligent. This rational and intelligent is not very clever and is not someone that very intelligent, but is very wise. His intelligence is solving problem of his own stress and be comfort with the wise understanding. He can pick up right away the right things, the right perception, see the thing in the right way, like Eightfold Path we taught. All which start with Samma, right. So the second one is when meditation and insight cultivation, you build up your own faith and wise. So faith and wise is two things go together in Buddhism, like your plum. You can have two sides in your hand, but sometimes have faith, not wise, you make problem yourself. Sometimes very wise, no faith, then you won't put it into practice. You just think it, contemplate it very wise, but you not practically put it into the practice, so it won't build up the faith. When time comes, it just lacks of support in the Dhamma. The third one I want to say is high concentrate and strong observation. This training require and in a very serious practice schedule, and maybe it's a short-term retreat, even though the best is long-term retreat in order you can carry on process of the mental concentration training and strong habitual pattern of observation, so that you can investigate the Dhamma, you can investigate the phenomenon pop up and going away from your mental contact. This is the training is very challenging. It's a very, very difficult and important for the Buddhists who give themselves more chance to process and try. The last one is called compassion and loving kindness and wise, three together. So IQ and EQ come together. I read Western philosophy, they call that intelligent emotion. So this is very important to the life, except sometimes we very wise to overcome problem, but we lack of a desire to help others. Sometimes we have very strong desire to help others, but lacks of self overcome. So we sometimes help others and we merge into the very deep bond, cannot pull out ourselves in the merge. So these two need to go together in order to overcome problem. Once a good meditator, he can build up concentration from the jhana points of view, then he experience the calmness of the mind is more profound. Once you can meditate into the right observation, then he can observe and see the very subtle defilement in his own mind. Then he can do something in order that to overcome this habitual pattern of thinking, habitual patterns of this verbal set and mental. So he don't without wise to put the Dhamma to comfort the life. Third one I want to say is self-awakening and awaken to others. It needs a lot of skill, but we want to respect others' ways of practice. Not only one way go to the goal. In Buddhism, we talk about exit in one circle, all the direction, all the angle can see things in the goal. We can keep ourselves in different direction, all can come to the same goal. It's just skillful mean indifferent. It's just behavior indifferent. It just see things in different angle and respect other. Very important. I want to say is, in the first important is support yourself in the Dhamma. If you don't support yourself in the practice of Dhamma and support others into the practice of Dhamma, I don't know how you can expect the coming future, the coming condition that you never know will happen right away. You need to use your practice, result, and experience to overcome and comfort yourself when the difficult time coming. This is what I want to say. In the first important is support yourself in Dhamma. Last part I want to say is a little bit. Timetable for the practice and cultivation. This is become very direct and very straightforward. We talk much more than what we can do. But when we want to do something in order, it will get the result. Timetable is very important. So I put it into 3: professional practice, practice owning the personal interest, and habits at emergency moment. First one I want to say is professional training. In Buddhism, we divide in monastic life and lay life. Monastic life is remarkable because he put all the working, learning, practice, serving as a whole. He don't divide this. So I say, because of this noble life going on, planning by the Buddha himself for his own noble disciple, I call this remarkable training, is monastic life. The second important is lay teacher. Lay teacher is most diligent life in the Dhamma. So lay teacher, because of want to help other, want to know more about the teaching, about the practice, about how we can move forward more direct and faster. So I call this most diligent life is lay teacher life. The third one is followers. The followers who support the Dhamma, who support the Sangha, and who support the Buddha is most generous one. He can earn a lot of good fortune in the future, wholesome connection in the future, and wholesome living condition in the future. You don't have to worry and fear about what is coming in the future that may not comfort you. You are seeding yourself. The harvest will accordingly what you put the seed, what you try to harvest is accordingly how much effort you put into the this farming. So take care very well to cut off all the weed, to put fertilizer, to put watering, and then sometimes we need to nursing it from very plowing. Sometimes we need to take care to pluck all the branches and leaf in order to make it healthy is very important. So I want to say that the second part is practice owning the personal interest. So someone who interested to learn the sutra and the teaching, someone is very interested about training in Vinaya discipline himself. Someone is very concerned about meditation. Someone is very concerned about social activity like generosity and tolerate stress, pay hardship, endure difficulty to help others. This is all the subject that need to be trained, need to be moved forward. We are in different standpoint. We need to fulfill all this as the perfection. Only perfect yourself in all the training, you can easy to put yourself into different conditions. You see all different conditions not as a challenge, but as it is. Last part I want to say is habits at emergency moment. So in my mind, urgent need at the Dhamma can comfort my own life. The first one is habitual recollection, means what kind of memory what I have right away when I contact or touch into this world dimension. World information always disturb our mental set because habitual pattern, we not recollection ourselves in the Dhamma. If this Dhamma already become a strong memory in the mind, then we have no difficulty. We have all the comfort and joy in the memory. The second one is habitual behaviors, means what kind of behavior we have in in the morning, in the lunch time, in the evening time, or sometimes we still have supper before we go sleep. What is going on in the life? You are very loose sometimes. But if you have all this habitual pattern accordingly to what the Buddha teaching, then you don't have problem at all because you are disciplined. You are happy yourself with the Dhamma. Thank you. This is what I want to share and in the Vesak Day. This talk, a lot of things is come from my own experience. So I recall, what can I say to people that this saying is real to myself and what I need. So my talk is what I look for. My talk is the goal, what I feel by this talk. I hope my life comfort with it. I hope everyone listen to this talk can understand what my meaning, but not going to say that I have a very good speak in English. My English is so-so, but my Dhamma talk is not so-so. I hope everyone love this, enjoy it, and be comfort with the Dhamma. Thank you. May all have peace mind state. May all have a safety in the Vesak day and ongoing to the future. May this pandemic issue not cause you harm, not cause your family danger. May all be in peace and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shifu. The Buddhist Council offers thanks to you for joining us today. And we'd like to also thank everyone who helped to plan our event today. Special thanks to Venerable Kongshi Shifu, Francesca, and Corey from MABA for our technical support and setup crucial to making the event happen. Thanks to our guest speakers, Venerable Jie Huang and Master Jiru. In attending today, we have all accumulated merit in that we are learning from our speakers to have compassion for ourselves and for others. As is tradition, we will share merit with all beings. Ajahn Vichit will chant verses of sharing the merit in Pali, followed by Dr. Kongsak reading the translation of the verses.
Can you be
And
sharing the merit first?
sharing, okay.
Loving kindness.
And before we do that, then one last announcement for the St. Louis Area Food Bank. We will be accepting donations at MABA's website to make donations to the St. Louis Area Food Bank if you're able to donate, and we will forward the donations there. Okay, so first we will do Dr. Kongsak. We will read the verses of sharing the merit.
Can you put that slide up too on the Supreme Attitudes? I only see J on my screen. Basically, we will do Supreme Attitude, which is the next process. Basically, like you heard Master Jiru talk about the four holy abidings of loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Basically, the Buddha discovered that humankind has the underlying built-in, like loving kindness, built into your system, which nowadays neuroscientists may have seen it as mirror neurons. So that's why humankind was so successful. 7.7 billion people around the world, in every corner of the world, because we cooperate, have loving kindness, compassion towards each other. So he perfected into these four holy abidings of loving kindness, and have compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity that come together as four. People who haven't done loving kindness, radiation, or sharing loving kindness, you can pretend that as if you're a broadcasting station, broadcast your goodness, loving kindness to all beings, and a goodwill to all beings, your friend, your foe, and all beings around the world, especially this difficult time. So let's read it together. We start with that Supreme Attitude. May I be happy. May I be free
from stress and pain.
May I be free
May I be
from animosity.
free from
May I be free
May I
from
be free from
May I be free from trouble. May I look after myself at ease. May all living beings be happy. May all living beings be free from animosity. May all living beings be free from oppression. May all living beings be free from trouble. May all living beings look after themselves at ease. May all living beings be free from all stress and suffering. May all living beings not be deprived of the good fortune they have attained. All living beings are the owners of their karma, heir to their karma, born of their karma, related through their karma, and live dependently on their karma. Whatever they do for good and for evil, through their four air. May all livings may all beings live happily, always free from animosity. May all share in the blessing springing from the good I have done. May there be ever good blessing. May the Devas protect you by the power of all the Buddhas. May you forever be well. May there be ever good blessing. May the Devas protect you by the power of all the Dharma. May you forever be well. May there be ever good blessing. May the Devas protect you by the power of all the Sangha. May you forever be well. So you see there, dependent arising karma and law of karma included in that chanting. Next, we'll do sharing the merits. Basically, this tradition came 2,600 years ago when King Bimbisara offered the first temple, Veruwana Vihara, to the Buddha. It's a great merit. He built living quarters for the Buddha and the monks during that time. But the same night, he was haunted by a lot of loud noise, screaming noise in his palace and around his bedroom. And then, so next day he consulted the Buddha, and the Buddha said, those are your relatives that come to ask for your sharing the merits with you. You make the greatest merit, giving the first temple and living quarters for the Buddha and his disciples, but you didn't share with us. So the Buddha told him what to do. So the next day he invited the Buddha and the monks to the palace to give lunch and so on. And during the time, the Buddha taught him to pour water on the ground, a symbol of giving and pass on the merits to the departed ones. So we'll hear Ajahn Vichit, Venerable Ajahn Vichit chanted in Pali, and I'll translate in English, as you have seen on the screen too. Ajahn Vichit, Nimon Yathavariyaha.
ยะถาวริวหาปุราปริปุเรนติสาคารังเอวะเมวะอิโตตินังเปตานังอุปกปปติอิจิตังปจิตังตุมหังคิปะเมวะสมิจตุสัพเพปุเรนตุสังกปาจันโทปนรสโสยะถามณิโชติลโสยะถาสัพพิติโยวิวันจันตุสัมปโรโควินาศสัตตุมันเตมภวัตวันตารายโยสุขีติขายุโกภวะอภิวันธนาสิริสนิจจังวุฒาปัจจายโนจัตตารโอธรรมวัฏฐันติอายุวันโนสุขังภาลังรัตนัตยานุภาเวนะรัตนัตยเตชะสาทุกขโลภะพยาเวลาโสขสัตตุตุกตวานอเนกันตรายาปิวินัสสันตุเสสโตชายาติทิธนังลาภังโสทิภาพยังสุขังพรังสิริอายุจวันโนจาโภคังมุติยสวานสัตวัสสะจายุจาชีวสิทธิภวันตุเตอาวาตุสาปมังกรังราคันตุสาปริวตาตัพพะพุทธานุภาเวนะสัทธาสุทิภวันตุเตอาวาตุสาปมังกรังราคันตุสาปริวตาตัพพะธัมมานุภาเวนะสัทธาสุทิภวันตุเตอาวาตุสาปมังกรังราคันตุสาปริวตาสัพพะสังฆานุภาเวนะสัทธาสุทิภวันตุเต Thank you so much. Sunday. Have a good day. Good luck. Okay.
Here comes the translation. Just as a stream filling a riverbed would fill the ocean, even so would the merits of sharing benefit the deceased. Whatever you wish for, may it come quickly. May all your wishes come true as a shining moon on a full moon night and as a gorgeous sparkling gem. May all distress be dispelled. May all sicknesses be dispersed. May no dangers come to you. May you live long and happy. May one who is humble and honors the elders be blessed these four qualities: longevity, beauty, happiness, and strength. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you again for joining us today. We hope you have felt some comfort in learning from our dedicated monastic teachers. May the blessings of the triple gem of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha be with you. Thank you. Bye.